Hey everyone, Guthron here, aka Brian Guthrie, historian extraordinaire. Okay, maybe not that yet. Yep, that's my face. This is my avatar. Now bring on the dissertating. I'm so excited. Can't you tell? For this week's How to Dissertate, we had to use two new databases, Oxford Academic and Project Muse. Don't we love new databases? Not really, and here's why. They aren't all as good as we saw last time with the America's History imprints. You see, schools share databases with each other, but not every institution can access every article in a particular database. Boy, did we experience that with these two databases. Let me tell you, really, let me tell you. Lock after red lock. On and on these red locks go. Yeah, there's some green ones, but most of the good ones were locked red. However, did we let that get in our way? Momentarily, while we found a loophole. There it is, our university library. And look what we found. Stop me, will you? I think not. Man, all that just to get to the articles. And what, pray tell, did we find? All the goods. All the goods. This first one has such promise. Now that's the book title, but we only care about chapter 3 this week. Narrating Traumatic Experience in Civil War Memoir. See? All the goods. This author decided he wanted to dive into how veterans wrote of their traumatic experience. He picked 3 people based on their approach. First, there's General William Tecumseh Sherman and his hard-boiled surface that resembles donning a mask to hide your emotions on being confronted with your past. Sound familiar? Yeah, we thought so. Second is Private Sam Watkins, Confederate, at first seeming a jaded realist, but really trying to understand his feelings from a religious perspective. Haven't we all? Finally, there's the author of this. Of reminiscences, there is no end. I have a vast store of them laid up, wherewith to while away the tedious years of my anecdotage, whenever it shall please heaven to make me old. That's Union Lieutenant Ambrose Bierce, trying his pen at fiction writing. Who hasn't after trauma? Not this guy. Oh, wait, what's that doing there? Anyway, this veteran, with all his memories and experiences, didn't mind how different it made him from everyone else. He even relished it. To each their own, I guess. The entire chapter is more of the same, a veritable smorgasbord of insight analyzing how and why soldiers eventually all turned to the pen. Learning moment. Did you know that scholars call the period between 1865 and 1880 the hibernation period of veteran literature about the Civil War? Yeah, I didn't either. Obviously, it takes time to come to terms with your trauma. Moving on to the other article, because we just have to or the professor starts looking at his watch. This one vectors at this topic from an oblique angle, literally. It's about fighting and how they did it during the war. Vectoring marching lines of men from oblique angles was the ultimate in battlefield prowess. That and officers keeping a tight control on their men to ensure those poor soldiers killed the absolute maximum of enemy targets as possible. Seriously, the author said so. Right there. Learning moment. Are you familiar with the phrase seeing the elephant? Now this one I did know. For the uninitiated, it means learning something but paying a huge price for it. In the Civil War, it usually meant seeing battle, in particular someone being killed.
A bitter struggle ensues as Union forces desperately cling to their limited gains against repeated Confederate counterattacks. The soldiers fight at point-blank range, with only a few feet between them. The battle rages along a narrow front. After 18 hours of constant combat, the Confederates withdraw to a hastily constructed reserve line. Spotsylvania would emerge as the third bloodiest battle of the Civil War.
This author highlights one soldier, Irish-born Frank Potts, involved in skirmish fighting just before the Battle of First Manassas. He justified his killing a Union officer after the skirmish by saying the man had no business here. To Potts, the man was an invader and needed taught a lesson, a permanent lesson. Another motivating reason? He watched his friend die during the skirmish from a Union bullet. His story shows a man justified in his killing, but with a potential need for revenge. Complex feelings indeed. Well, that's probably enough dissertating for this week, at least for this discussion. It's very interesting what you find when you start looking in unusual places, like Reddit. On second thought, don't. No need to get into the cesspool of the internet. Till next time, happy dissertating, and cue credits. Yes, these are the credits. These are all of the sources. These are the sources that I have put in the right Durabian format. Hope they're correct.